From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening. Officials say they are investigating claims made by former North Pole resident Miranda Barber.
19-year-old Barber, who has been charged in the brutal slaying of a Pennsylvania man met on Craigslist, has recently admitted to killing at least 22 others. The killings, according to Barber, ranged from Alaska to North Carolina as part of her involvement in the satanic cult. Prosecutors say they are seeking the death penalty for Barber and her 22-year-old husband for the murder. The news center spoke to Sunbury, Pennsylvania Police Chief Stephen Mazzio regarding the case.
The recent information that we received late last week and over the weekend, we have requested assistance from the local FBI office, and we are contacting authorities in various states where she may or may not have committed crimes. Our investigators have contacted authorities in Alaska and in other states, and that's why we requested the assistance of the FBI to determine the validity of the allegations by the alleged defendant.
Alaska State Troopers spokeswoman Megan Peters said in an email that they had received the information from Sunbury Police and will be working with other authorities and following any leads that may present themselves. The news center spoke to the Alaska Federal Bureau of Investigation, who say they have not gotten involved in the investigation at this time. However, in a statement released to the news center via email, Philadelphia's FBI says they, quote, had been in contact with Sunbury Police and will offer any assistance requested in the case.
Parents with concerns about cuts in education held rallies today statewide, including Fairbanks, Juneau, and Anchorage. The rallies were held to emphasize to state legislators that education cuts would result in class sizes increasing, while at the same time the number of teachers would decrease. Parents feel that these changes would result in students not receiving the proper opportunity to grow, enhancing their educational requirement skills.
We're supposed to perform. Our kids are supposed to perform. They're evaluated. Our teachers are supposed to perform. They're evaluated. But if you cut their funding, cut their supplies, how are they going to meet the marks that they're required and prove that they deserve to have more funds?
I think the idea behind it is to make sure parents know that there is an opportunity to let our legislators know how we feel. And we don't want our classrooms increased, classroom sizes increased. We want them to fully fund our schools. And we've been flat funded and underfunded for several years, and we're unhealthy. And they need to fund us to get us healthy and then fund us to let us grow.
I'm afraid that we're going to lose a generation of kids for the future of Alaska because people aren't funding their education, which is a constitutionally mandated thing for the state to do.
A Wasilla man rolled his vehicle carrying 4 passengers after striking a moose near Chena Hot Springs Road this weekend. According to troopers, 49-year-old Jerry True was driving on Chena Hot Springs Road yesterday when his vehicle struck the adult female moose. True's Suburban left the roadway, rolled twice, and landed in a ditch on mile 42.5 of the road. True was traveling with his 4 family members, none of which reported injuries. However, True did receive treatment for minor injuries at the scene. Troopers contacted a charity to collect the moose.
The State Board of Game continued its Fairbanks meeting today at the Alpine Lodge. The board is looking at proposals to change hunting and trapping regulations that would affect the interior. The meeting started last Friday and was set to go for as long as 10 days if necessary. Today they were working on proposals that would have an impact in the McGrath area. 2 of them concern the issue of predator control.
They have reauthorized 2 predation control programs, one in 19D East and the other in 19A. These programs have been on the books for several years. They're starting to show great promise for the moose populations and the people in those areas, and the board wanted to make sure that those programs could be continued.
All right, when we come back, a new logo is unveiled for Fairbanks tourists.
Also, we highlight another agency that works with the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Those stories are next. Stay with us. And welcome back. As tourism marketing shifts to the internet, cities are creating stylish new logos to attract more visitors. The Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau is upgrading as well. The nonprofit organization announced at the Interior Tourism Conference that they will operate under the name Explore Fairbanks, which has been used for several years on the internet. The logo itself portrays the midnight sun and 2 aurora borealis, 2 special characteristics about Fairbanks. Now, the nonprofit marketing organization has been around for more than 30 years promoting interior tourism.
We think it makes it more competitive in the marketplace. It's easier to say. It's a little snazzier than Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau. So from a very surfacey kind of look, that makes it easier for us. We'll gradually implement it. So that I think the challenge is if you had a lot of resources, you'd probably do this big changeover all at once. But with us, we'll gradually implement it. If when we need new stationery, we'll put it in.
After a dramatic fire season in 2013, which included an evacuation on Chena Hot Springs Road, several agencies are seeking ways to improve fire service in forested areas. The State Division of Forestry and the Fairbanks North Star Borough will hold a public meeting to discuss the Community Wildfire Protection Plan in the Steese, North Star, and Chena Goldstring Fire Service districts. The meeting will start Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Steese Fire Station at 585 Old Steel Creek Road. The public is invited to comment on the project and future mitigation efforts, such as clearing more trees next to residential property.
Anchorage Airport police are downplaying the discovery of a pipe bomb in a passenger's carry-on luggage, noting that no triggering device was found. Airport Police and Fire Chief Jesse Davis tells the Anchorage Daily News that Transportation Security Administration agents found the small explosive in the luggage of a man headed for a North Slope flight for oil company workers yesterday afternoon. Davis says no one was in danger. The man, whose name hasn't been released, claimed it was an avalanche device. The FBI was interviewing him.
The state in 2010 adopted an energy policy that set a goal of having 50% Alaska's electric generation come from renewable and alternative energy sources by 2025. Many believe the likeliest way to achieve that is a major project in south central Alaska, like the proposed Susitna-Watana Hydro Project. But the project is far from assured. Representative Bill Stoltz last week said he didn't see a commitment from Governor Sean Parnell's administration for the renewable goal. Stoltz later said his comments were more of a political challenge, born of a desire to have more open discussion on projects. A Parnell spokeswoman says the state remains committed to the renewable energy goal, as demonstrated by investments in and ongoing work on the Susitna project and other hydro and wind projects.
We continue tonight with our series on the 20 agencies that make up the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Tonight, News Center 11's Mike Schultz spotlights the ACCA.
The Alaska Center for Children and Adults, or ACCA, has been in the community since 1946 with the mission of improving the lives of people with disabilities and their families by providing quality of diagnostic, therapeutic, educational, and referral services in conjunction with other community providers without regards to ability to pay. Susan Kessler is the executive director for ACCA, and she says the United Way has a major impact in the way their agency is run.
Yeah, so we really do rely on United Way funding at ACCA, and there's a couple different ways we use United Way funding. The idea we have primarily is that we take United Way funding and we use it to fund new programs and new initiatives that may not have secure funding. And then over time, we develop secure funding for those programs and we start another new program. And then, of course, the flexibility of United Way funding also just supports some of our administrative costs, which often aren't funded through grants or other income streams, or sometimes are even specifically excluded.
I asked Susan, with all they do, what is it she's most proud of for the ACCA?
The thing I'm most proud of at ACCA is that we provide all of our services first without regard to ability to pay. So we don't turn anyone away based on whether they can, whether they have health insurance or whether they can pay for the services out of pocket.
The United Way campaign still runs until the end of March, but you can still donate, and remember, all donations stay within the community. Mike Schultz, News Center 11.
So lots of news and sports. Lots of big announcements, I think, coming up.
I think so. You know, Joe is, he's busy all weekend.
Always.
And coming up, he has a full weekend recap, including an Iron Dog update. But first, he has news on whether or not the Iditarod will be moving to Fairbanks.
Good question. All right, stay tuned for that and more next in sports.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. It's time for the weekend recap. After a 2-hour meeting this morning, Iditarod race officials reached a unanimous decision to keep the Iditarod restart in Willow. Sam Hooley, the Iditarod race marshal, cited that the ice leading up to and along the Susitna and Yitna rivers would be thick enough to support heavy equipment that would turn ice into snow. It's about a 65-mile stretch up the trail from the Willow area that will need to be groomed. A restart in Fairbanks would have been around the Pikes Landing area. The last time the restart was in Fairbanks was in 2003, but you can get your Iditarod fix throughout the race right here on KTVF. Yesterday in Holton, Michigan, the Natick men's ski team took second at the NCAA Central Region Championship. Sophomore Michael Fahrenbach finished fourth in 41 minutes, 22.5 seconds to lead the Nooks. Junior Logan Hahnemann was 1 second behind him. Northern Michigan rallied from 3 points down and won the team title by 7 points. The women's team of UEF, they placed third after Nicole Bath won the 5K Classic on Saturday. She placed 8th in the 10K to pace the Nooks. Allison McFeeters and Heather Edick placed 10th and 11th respectively. The NCAA championships start on March 6th, but final selections will be made after the region championships are finished throughout the country. The Iron Dog race started yesterday, and the race already has some fireworks. Look at this amazing video from our sister station KTU. They're following the race from start to finish. Last night, current race leaders Mike Morgan and Chris Oles pulled into McGrath. Morgan was refueling, but his sled burst into flames. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Turns out the sled only needs minor repairs. Look at that. Morgan and Oles assessed the damages and their status for the race after that incident earlier today.
Burnt gauntlets, a burnt pre-filter on the intake system here. Takes a minute to swap out, so no big deal. We think that's all it is, but once we get the sleds running and rolling down the trail, that's when we're really going to find out, so we're hoping there's nothing else. I don't know, before the fire we were probably a 10, but we're probably not gone to about a 7 or 8 now.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good.
We're still feeling good about it.
Even with the fire, Morgan and Olds are still on top of the Iron Dog leaderboard, followed by defending champions Mark McKenna and Dusty Van Meter. Tyler Acklestead and Tyson Johnson, who are Team 8, are third. Shane Barber and Ryan Sosasanti are Team 2, they're fourth. And Corey Davis and Ryan Simon, Team 4, they round out the top 5. Today was the start of the NHL Top Prospects Tournament in Troy, Michigan. 6 Ice Dogs in all will be playing in front of college coaches and NHL scouts in 2 days of action. Iggy Wyatt's NHL 18U select team shut out the High Performance Hockey League 3-0. Wyatt was +1 on defense in that game. Midwest team featuring Nick Hens, Brett Gervais, Lonnie Clary, and Colton Walter and Kyle Lee lost 4-1 to Central. Clary got the lone goal for Midwest, and Central rallied with 4 unanswered goals for the win. The Midwest team will play the North team tomorrow. In high school basketball over the weekend, the Hutchinson Hawks teams represented in the Elks tournament in Valdez. The girls team went 3-0 and won the tournament with a 43-34 win over Seward, holding no more than a 5-point lead for much of the second half, but they closed it out for the boys. Spencer Johnston hit a 3 at the buzzer to give the Hawks a 63-62 win over Valdez in the third place game. He finished with 13 points. Daniel Page led the Hawks with 24. Kiana Edwards, Ellie Veazey, and Michael Benson made all tournament for the Hawks. And before we go, here's this week's I-5, the Interior Top 5 plays. At number 5, Garrett Summer of North Pole with the steal, fast break, and won in North Pole's 67-37 win over Eielson on Tuesday. At number 4, Brett Gervais of the Ice Dogs with a hat trick and a 4-1 win over the Bruins on Saturday. More from this series in a bit, like right now. At number 3, wonderful passing, Ross Olson to Ethan Somoza to Kyle Lee for the score. That was the game winner in Friday's 5-4 win over the Bruins for the Ice Dogs. At number 2, how about the Nanook's offensive explosion in their sweep of the Michigan Tech Huskies? Lots of goals, but Nolan Heisman, he had a career-high 4 points on Saturday and 7 points in the series to lead the Nooks. At number 1, freshman Nicole Bath continues to tear up the trail. She wins the 5K Classic race on Saturday in 17 minutes, 44.4 seconds, 15 seconds faster than anyone else in the NCAA Central Region Championships. To pick the play of the week, comment on the KTVF YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages, or email Joe Cook at KTVF11.com and let us know which one is the play of the week. It will be announced this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and as always, we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. Hope you had yourself a good weekend. Wasn't quite expecting 4 inches of snow Saturday night, but oh well, that's the way it goes. It helps out the outdoor activities at least. Nice photograph for tonight. This one is a beautiful one sent in by Amanda Rychetsky, and you can see here a nice sundog. You can see again right silhouetting across the tree there. Beautiful shot there. Beautiful photograph. And again, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Numbers look like this right now at the airport. 11 below after a high of 1 below. The overnight low last night, 26 below. Record high, 37, 1941. Record low, 49 below in 1965. The sunrise and sunset, 8 hours and 47 minutes of daylight, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Here's our satellite and radar. Again, the circulation around an area of low pressure sitting over the King Salmon area, helping to usher in the little pockets of moisture here and there. And some of these might be coming in through the evening, giving more clouds and a possibility of some snow flurry activity, even a little light snow tomorrow. What's going on across the rest of the state? Well, it looks fairly quiet. Little snow shower activity around Juneau and along the Aleutian Chain, but other than that, lots of sunshine over the southwest portion of the state. Clear skies over the north and over the northeast, also around Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, new storm system moving ashore in the Pacific Northwest, bringing lots of rain and snow there. And then again, a big storm system moving across the Great Lakes and giving Chicago quite a bit of snowfall. And this is continuing to move off to the northeast, giving those folks even more snow than they had over the weekend. As you can see on tomorrow's forecast for the map for the big storm moving across the Pacific Northwest, heavy snow and avalanche danger, a big possibility. And as far as the overall jet stream, again, right on flow, again, continuing off the northwest and diving down to the south and roaring back up across to the eastern section of the Great Lakes. That means more rain over the eastern half of the country and nice weather over the southwest, and the drought continues over California. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Flurries for Barrow and Fort Yukon, partly cloudy skies at Nome. Here in the interior, we're looking at, for the most part, cloudy skies, some areas of light snow at Fairbanks, Healy, and Delta Junction. No real accumulation expected. Tomorrow's forecast over southeast Alaska, at Juneau, scattered showers, and in Ketchikan also the same expected there. Over the southwest, snow showers for Cold Bay, cloudy skies in Bethel, and a few clouds for Kodiak Island. And over the south central regions, it looks like light snow for Anchorage, snow showers at Homer, 2 to 4 inches expected in Valdez, and in the pass, Townsend Pass, a blizzard warning is in effect. Well, it is usually our time for our kids' weather, but we're going to give them a week off for taking care of parent-teacher conferences. So we'll have weather facts. And in 1990, Seattle, Washington had 10 inches of snow, and that you can basically know that just paralyzed the city. Here's our forecast for the remainder of the night. And a reminder, real quickly, we'll be talking with the kids from Denali Elementary School next week. All right, here's your forecast. 23 below for the overnight low, but warmer in the hills, and maybe some flurries moving in later on. Tomorrow's forecast, cloudy skies, a chance of a little light snow, 4 degrees below zero. Good news is the 5-day period calling for temperatures to continue warming into the teens and even 20 degrees by Sunday. Joe, you'll be looking forward to that, I'm sure.
I will.
And overnight lows will also be warming up. In fact, we're looking at overnight lows warming to the 0 degree mark and even the plus mark by Saturday night. That's good.
Yes, and we're just getting information in that there has been reports of a very bad accident on the corner of Steese and Trainer Gate Road.
Right.
So apparently officials are asking people to avoid that area. So if you're out and about, stay away from that, and we should have more information as it becomes available.
Okay, good to know. And
Yeah.
well, you know, with all the snow, it's just covering that black ice that's on the road there.
Yeah.
So it's travel is.
Always talk about that.
Yeah, always.
That's a tough intersection too.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen many of those over the years. Okay, thank you, Stephanie, and thanks, Mike. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the latest on that hijacking overseas with Americans on board. What set off the co-pilot? That's next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
And before we leave you, we want to tell you that today is the 59th anniversary of KTVF.
Wow. And somebody else is celebrating an anniversary,
Wow.
huh?
And my wife and I are celebrating our 41st anniversary.
Okay.
So I never forget it.
KTVF was 18 when you guys were married.
Yeah,
so
right.
Wow, that's interesting. That's how that works out.
History.
It just goes to show I'm old, that's all. That'll do it from all of us here at the News Center. Enjoy the rest of your night in the Olympics, and we'll see you back here later on.